Welcome to Tiny Pep Talks for Step Parents, a short weekly podcast with new episodes every Sunday. For today's pep talk, we are not the Brady Bunch. Happy Stepfamily Day, which is September 16th, to all the incredible blended families out there that look nothing like the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch laid the groundwork for decades of unrealistic expectations about blended families. Not a single kid in that family expressed grief over the loss of their former family, resentment at the entrance of a new step-parent, or mixed feelings about getting saddled with an excess of new siblings. But we are not the Brady Bunch. We did not combine households seamlessly, just add 4 total strangers, give us a quick stir, and poof, a brand new family sprung up overnight where the kids call us mom and dad, and no one seems to remember that any previous parent or family existed. The real journey toward blended is so much more intimidating, which doesn't mean we're failing at becoming a family. It's just that our preconceptions about what blended really means are misinformed. The Brady Bunch was society's first introduction to the idea that maybe, just maybe, step-parents weren't evil monsters who hated their stepkids, the way centuries of fairy tales would have us believe. Conversely, the show painted an over-the-top, unrealistic portrayal of idyllic life in a blended family in the exact same way that Gilligan's Island, made by the same people, by the way, made getting stranded after a shipwreck look like a real good time. Obviously impossible, yet we all fell for the new fairy tale because we were desperate for a new narrative and we didn't know any better. The Brady Bunch has now become its own preconception we're fighting against as blended families. That a real blended family has no steps in their house but the ones that lead to the second floor. That a real blended family pretty much looks and acts and functions just like any other sitcom family. These beliefs are just as toxic in their own way as the wicked stepmother trope. In trying to live up to the hype, we then step-parent from a place of inauthenticity. We shove down any internal doubts. The Bradys never had doubts. And try our damnedest to parent our stepkids exactly like the Bradys. Always fair, always equal. Only that's a misconception too. You really can't parent a kid who's with you part-time the exact same way you'd parent a kid who's with you full-time. And even if your stepkids are with you full-time, most don't want you to parent them. And no one tells you that either. The Bradys definitely never had that problem. In real life, we're smacked again and again with the trickier truths of living in a blended family. That connecting with our stepkids can be hard. That a difficult ex can make life damned complicated. That we're drowning in mixed feelings we never anticipated. And because we've seen very little of this acknowledged in TV or movies, let alone in real life by other actual step-parents, we think, well, shit, we must really be jacking this up. Without examples that accurately show the everyday complexities of step-family life, we're all flying blind. We mistakenly believe that other blended families must have it easier. We think we must be the only ones struggling. We'd complain more about how unfair it all feels if we didn't feel guilty even admitting that, especially when, based on other step-parents' social posts or blogs or whatever, they seemingly all got the Brady Bunch, while we're over here stuck with, well, whatever this is. Not that you're not committed and everything. You love your partner. You're totally invested in being the best step-parent you can be. It's just not quite what you imagined your family would be. Like, not even close. I've wanted a classic VW Bug my entire life. Imagine if someone said, oh, hey, I heard you've always wanted one of these, and then handed me the keys to a used Subaru instead. Okay, cool, a car. That is so awesome and generous, and also not even close to what I actually wanted. What I wanted was a non-blended family, a regular old boring family, shared firsts and dinner at 6 and passing down traditions from my grandparents and great-grandparents. In the earliest days of blending our family, I thought I could still have that. Heck, we had 2 parents and a couple kids. That was close enough, right? Technically, sure. Just like a classic VW Bug and a used Subi are both technically cars. Yet, in constantly going over all the differences in my mind between the two, constantly comparing what I'd always wanted with what I actually got, I ended up undermining my own joy in the actual family we had. because maybe that traditional family dream I held was just as unrealistic as the Brady Bunch. Maybe what makes us a family has nothing to do with looking like the possibly just as fake image of a traditional family I held in my mind. What makes us a family isn't about shared last names or shared DNA. It's not apparently even about time spent together. Weren't we just as much of a family on long distance custody as we were on 50-50? Aren't we still a family now, even though the kids have grown up and moved out on their own? What makes us a family is the simple belief that we are one. We're a family once we believe we're a family. We're blended once we believe we're blended, not once we live up to the impossible standards set by the Brady Bunch. We keep trying to make step family life line up with traditional family life and finding they're not the same thing at all. And so we keep trying to hide our step family-ness, our otherness, shrink our messy blending down into something less complex, less chaotic, less extraordinary than we are. But we were never meant to fit into a boring old regular family-shaped box. Blended families are our own thing. We are groundbreakers, pioneers, trailblazers. We're not lost. We're exploring the untrodden way. And as we go, we'll find that our definition of what makes us a family keeps changing and expanding as we ourselves keep changing and expanding as step-parents and as humans. Happy Step Family Day. Please make time to celebrate yourselves.